Hi everyone, this is my second video. In this video, we'll break down how it works. The renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, how it functions. The operation of the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system actually starts, oddly enough, with the liver, because the liver synthesizes a large number of proteins, especially blood proteins. So, in the liver cells, an alpha-2 globulin is synthesized, which is called angiotensinogen. Angiotensinogen is an inactive protein. It enters the systemic bloodstream. Basically, it doesn't have any effect or influence. But then there's an organ called the kidney. A pretty large amount of blood flows through the kidney. In fact, about 25% of the body's total blood flow constantly passes through the kidneys. That means about 120 liters of blood pass through the kidneys per day, producing around 100 liters of primary urine, from which about 1.5 liters of secondary urine are formed. And it's the kidney that is very closely tied to and sensitive to how much blood is flowing to it. If not enough blood is supplied, or if the kidney senses that it's experiencing ischemia, it produces renin. Actually, the kidney does produce renin all the time, in varying amounts. But if there is any ischemia in the kidney, the production of renin will increase. Renin is an enzyme. For example, this same enzyme in the stomach is called chymosin. So essentially, it's the same renin that converts casinogen into casein. It's the very same renin. This renin acts on angiotensinogen, cleaving off a part of it, resulting in angiotensin 1. Angiotensin 1 enters the bloodstream, and accordingly, there is a specific enzyme in erythrocytes and in the lungs that converts it into angiotensin 2. Angiotensin 2 already has a vasoconstrictive effect. That is, it actually constricts the blood vessels, mainly the larger ones, and thereby increases blood pressure. Accordingly, blood pressure rises and blood flow to the kidneys also improves. But angiotensin 2 also acts on the glomerular layer, which is the first layer, the glomerular layer of the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands, as you know, are located in this area, and in the adrenal glands, aldosterone is produced. There is also a certain dependence of its production on the concentration of ions in the blood. For example, an increased amount of potassium ions will increase aldosterone secretion. Aldosterone will also be active. The fact is, it will act directly on the renal tubules, improving their function. That is, it increases sodium reabsorption and potassium secretion, meaning sodium will be reabsorbed. Water will follow the sodium, and as a result, fluid will be retained and its volume will increase. In this way, the volume of circulating blood increases and consequently, blood pressure rises. As you can see here, there are the nephrons themselves shown. There are cortical nephrons and there are juxtaglomerular nephrons. The main processes of filtration, reabsorption, and secretion take place in the cortical nephrons, while the juxtaglomerular nephrons, they are mostly responsible for maintaining pressure in such, well, critical situations. To a lesser extent, they are located somewhat lower in the kidney by their structure. The actual process of renin production, I forgot to mention, takes place in the juxtaglomerular apparatus of the nephron. This is this point right here, where the dense spot, the macula densa, is located. That's its Latin name. And it is in the macula densa that renin is produced. So, as you can see, there's a blood vessel here. This is the afferent arteriole, meaning the blood flows in like this, coming in here. Accordingly, if there isn't enough blood, renin is released, which will raise the blood pressure in this area. And that's exactly how this network is structured. It's called the kidney's miraculous network. So here, the afferent arteriole flows into the efferent arteriole instead of transitioning into a venule. I think that's probably everything I wanted to say. If you're interested in the content I've shared here, you can follow the link in the description and purchase my study guides. Thank you all for your attention.